My name is Jason Dyck. I'm the Extreme Outdoor Guide. I'm here today on behalf of the Manitoba Wildlife Federation. Today we're going to talk about locating and scouting for black bears. Manitoba is world-renowned for its black bear hunting. There's bears from the north to the south and anywhere and everywhere in between. The key to finding good bear hunting locations is to get away from the cities, get away from the towns, and get deep into the woods. So the kind of things that you're going to want to look for when scouting and looking for black bears is you want the dense, darker type forest. You don't really want to be in that sparse open areas. If you're hunting, especially in the springtime. In the fall time it's different. Bears do feed a lot on fields, so edges of fields do work well. But in the springtime, which is prime time for black bear, you're going to want to find that really thick, dark timber next to food and water. One way to do a pre-scout is to drive a vehicle even down fire guard roads or gravel roads and look on the sides of the shoulders where the gravel is loose. Look for bear tracks, look for bear sign. And if you do 1 mile square grids, you'll be able to find where the bears are maybe coming into an area and where they're leaving an area. And that'll dramatically help you locate the areas bears are bedding, maybe, or where they're feeding. The sign that you're going to look for is either claw marks on trees, which bears generally will do when they're marking their area, especially a big boar. You'll also find claw marks from sow and cubs when they're in an area as well. Another thing to look for when you know that you're in bear area is you're going to be looking for scat on the ground. If you can find scat, and there's a thing called a plug. Now that plug is something that's in a bear during hibernation so that he doesn't drop feces inside his den area. So in the springtime, once they've been feeding, that plug will fall out. It's a big mucus looking ball. And you know when you find that mucus, you're in an area where a bear is definitely going to be feeding. So things like looking for the scat, looking for that plug, claw marks on trees, grasses ripped up on the edges of the fields or in green grass area. They're moving those leaves to get at that green grass, and that's a key to look for when it comes to finding bears first thing in the spring. Bears will also dig on the edges of roadways and especially quad trails, edges of swamps, edges of cut lines. They're going to paw at the ground a little bit. One of the first things that bears will be drawn to in the spring after they've woken up from hibernation is green grass, and that green grass will actually help their stomach to get back into the natural order of eating food again. So finding areas where you have a bit of green grass early in the season usually will draw bears in a lot sooner. Another good spot to check for black bear sign is at the edge of swamps or the edge of ponds, even in ditches near water. The ground is always a little softer, a little more muddy, and it's an easy spot to be able to see tracks. You can determine the size of a bear by his track by placing your hand in it. And typically if your hand is 4 inches, add an inch, you got a 5-foot square bear. Okay. Definitely one thing you're going to want to do when you're scouting for bears is spend the time in the woods. It's not a bad thing. It's a lot of fun. Wander around, walk around, enjoy the day. Keep your eyes open for that scat, tracks, claw marks. Look for areas that bears have been feeding, and especially keep your eyes open for bears. Just because you're looking for sign of them doesn't mean that the bear won't be there. So make sure you're looking, keep your eyes open, have fun doing it.